Good morning and welcome to another topic which is on environmental issues. When we talk about environmental issues, these are particular human activities that have a negative or detrimental effect on our environment. There are certain times unknowingly that we are creating or having activities that may be harmful to our environment. So in other words, pag sinabi natin na environmental issues, most of the time, tayong mga tao ang may kasalanan or tayo yung gumagawa ng pagkasira ng ating kalikasan. So yun yung tinatawag natin or most of the time, tinatawag natin ang mga ito na environmental issues. Maraming iba't ibang uri ng environmental issues at isa-isahin natin itong tatalakayin. So we are going to discuss each of these environmental issues and we are going to discuss thoroughly kung ano yung ang mga epekto at kung ano yung matatawag natin na environmental issue. Okay, first of all, let us first answer this question. So, ano ba ang environmental issue? So, pag sinabi natin environmental issue, ito yung mga issues na gawa ng mga aktibidades or activities of humans that may cause harm to the environment or nakakasama sa ating kalikasan. Okay? So karamihan, ang naapektuhan nito ay yung tinatawag natin na biophysical environment or the environment that includes organisms such as animals and also their physical surrounding such as the place or the habitat where they live. Okay? So pag sinabi nating bio, it means life. So most of the time, these environmental issues has a negative effect not only to humans but also to other living organisms. From the smallest living organism to the largest living organism, they are mostly affected by these environmental issues. So, ibig sabihin yan, hindi lang tayo na mga tao ang naapektuhan sa mga environmental issues na to, kundi pati na rin sa mga maliliit na organismo, mga insekto, mga hayop at iba pa. At yung biophysical environment naman na tinatawag natin, ito yung mga tirahan o yung environment itself where the organisms are located or where they live or the habitat where they are found. So yun yung tinatawag natin na physical environment. Now, ang environmental issue o yung mga human activities, tinatawag natin ito scientifically as anthropogenic activities. So, pag sinabi nating anthropogenic activities, these are man-made activities. So, gawa ito ng tao. So, lahat ng mga gawain ng mga tao na nakakasama or nakakabuti man, tinatawag natin na anthropogenic activities. So, sa mga anthropogenic activities na yan, meron siyang mga dahilan or cause, meron din siyang effect, o ano yung magiging epekto nito, at yung mitigation na tinatawag natin o ano ba ang dapat na solusyon para sa environmental issue na yan. So, bali tatlo yan. So, if there is an anthropogenic effect, there should be, this anthropogenic effect is divided always into three. There is a cause, an effect, and a mitigation activity. Okay? So, this mitigation or yung unahin natin muna nga yung causes. So, pag sinabi nating causes, ano ba yung sanhi? What particular human activity created a problem? So, that is now the cause. Ano yung human activity na nakagawa ng isang problema sa ating kalikasan? So, yan yung tinatawag natin na cause. And then, the effect, ano yung epekto nito sa ating kalikasan? May namatay ba ng mga organism? May naapektuhan ba ng mga organism? Or may nangyari ba sa kalikasan? That is the effect of the anthropogenic activity. And then from this cause and effect, there should be at least a mitigation or solution that will answer the problem. So pag sinabi nating mitigation, dapat ito yung magiging lunas na pwedeng makapagbigay solusyon dun sa problema. So hindi naman lahat ng bagay ay pag binigyan natin ng solusyon ay nawawala. So ang magagawa lang natin pag sinabi natin na to mitigate or mitigation is to lessen or pababaan natin yung impact of the anthropogenic effect or yung environmental issue na yan. So sa mitigation, we are just lessening the effect of the environmental issue or environmental problem. Okay. Now, always remember that environmental issues are always interconnected. So, when we say interconnected, one issue or one problem has an effect, and at the same time, it is related again to another problem. Okay? So, nagkakaroon siya ng interconnectedness. So, for example, pag polluted yung tubig, magkakaroon din ng air pollution because of the smell coming out of the polluted water. So, connected lahat niyan at nagsasanga-sanga yung problema. Okay? So, from this air pollution, from this air pollution, pwede rin siya mag-cause ng iba pang negative effects such as global warming. So, bawat gawain natin na nakakasama sa ating kalikasan ay lalong dumarami yan at konektado sa bawat isa. So, they are always interconnected na tinatawag natin. From a less environmental effect, it will go up, multiply into a more numerous types of environmental issues or problems. Okay, so that is the main definition, and at the same time the main issue that we have with regards to environmental issues. Okay. Proceeding on the next slide, we have here the first environmental issue that we are going to discuss this morning. And the first environmental issue that we are going to discuss is with regards to human overpopulation. So when we say human overpopulation, we have already multiplied not only 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, but 1,000,000,000 times already. Okay? Even if the Bible say that go ye and multiply, it doesn't mean we go out in the world and multiply uh, in a way that the carrying capacity or biocapacity of the earth is already affected. So when we say biocapacity, the planet or our planet cannot anymore sustain the number of people that are present. Okay, so if there is a continuous number of people coming out and there are lesser number who die, then the existing natural resources cannot anymore sustain or to provide for the needs of our people. Okay? So, yan yung tinatawag natin na biocapacity. So, kaya ba ng ating kalikasan na ibigay lahat yung pangangailangan natin? Thus, the natural resources can support and provide all the needs of the people. Okay? As well as yung tinatawag natin na carrying capacity. But there will come a time that there will be no more land or place where we could make our homes or our houses, or even wala nang lugar para tumayo lamang. Okay? So, there will darating yung panahon na the carrying capacity of our planet ay ma-over-exceed natin. And when that time comes, maybe it will now be the start of the extinction of the human species. Okay? And then aside another problem that is related to human overpopulation ay yung tinatawag natin na exploitation. So when we say exploitation, we exploit our natural resources. So when we say exploit, sinusobrahan natin yung paggamit sa ating mga kalikasan. So, dapat check and balance yan. Kukuha ka, magtatanim ka. So, pag pumutol ka ng kahoy, kailangan magtanim ka para may kapalit. Pero minsan, nagkakaroon tayo ng sobrang paggamit ng ating mga natural resources na napababayaan natin at karamihan sa kanila ay non-renewable. So pag sinabi natin na non-renewable, hindi mo na may babalik yan pag nagamit mo. Okay? Dalawa lang uri ng ating resources renewable resources or non-renewable resources. Sa renewable resources, pwede pa natin yan ibalik. Pero it will take time for it to multiply or to grow. But with regards to non-renewable resources that are being exploited, those resources will not return back easily. It may take millions or billions of years, such as our fossil fuel, to be renewed. Okay? Kaya nga nagkakaroon tayo ngayon ng problema with regards sa West Philippine Sea because the Chinese government wants to exploit the natural resources that are present in the West Philippine Sea. Okay? So pag pinabayaan natin yan, i-exploit ng ibang bansa ang ating mga natural resources, tayo ang mawawalan in the future. Another effect of human overpopulation is what we call as industrialization. Industrialization is when a country, a place, will have modern infrastructure with regards to the production of what we need, production of chemicals, production of whatever, any material. Okay, so if a certain area is industrialized, automatically it will need resources. Okay? So pag nagpatayo ka ng isang industriya ng lumber, kahoy, or any business industry, kailangan mo palagi ng natural resources or raw materials because you cannot create something if there are no raw materials to be used to create that something. So kung ang industry ay on infrastructure buildings, you need to exploit rocks, minerals to create cement. You need to exploit the forest to get the lumber. Okay? So ang nangyayari dyan, from this exploitation so that you can create industrialization, nasisira yung ating kalikasan. As another problem or effect of human overpopulation ay yung tinatawag natin na land degradation. So when we say land degradation, it is the destruction of the soil composition or the nutrient of the soil. Nade-degrade, nasisira. Okay? Nawawala yung taba ng lupa o nawawala yung mga nutrient content ng lupa. Hindi lang yung pagkawala ng nutrient sa degradation, pwede ring magiging sandy yung lupa, nagiging mabato. Okay? Kasi nga sa paggamit natin ng mga lupa sa pagpapatayo ng mga buildings o yung pagkuha natin ng mga resources sa ating mga river system, so nagkakaroon ng pagkasira yan. So nagkakaroon ng soil erosion which will lead to land degradation. So, pag naubos na natin yung mga lupa at wala na, hindi na kaya yung carrying capacity ng mga lupa natin, magkakaroon ng another problem dyan or effect of human overpopulation. Ito yung tinatawag natin na land reclamation. So, pag sinabi natin na land reclamation, kukuha tayo ng lupa sa dagat. Okay? Or tatambakan natin yung mga dalampasigan ng lupa para lumawak. Isang halimbawa nito ay yung sa Manila Bay, kung sa Manila Bay at saka sa may Cultural Center of the Philippines. Dati parte ng dagat yan na tinabunan ng lupa para pagpatayuan ng mga gusali. So dito sa land reclamation, kinukuha natin yung dagat. Okay? Pinapalitan natin ng lupa. Isang halimbawa rin ng land reclamation ay ang ginawa ng China sa West Philippine Sea, kung saan yung mga coral reef ay nilagyan or tinabunan ng lupa, buhangin at ginawa nilang mga isla at ginawa nilang base militar. So dito sa land reclamation, ang nasisira dito ay yung mga coral reefs, mga lamang dagat, kasi nasisira yung kanilang tirahan or kung saan sila nangingitlog at nagpaparami. Isa pang epekto ng human overpopulation ay yung tinatawag natin na urbanization. So when we talk about urbanization, it is the transfer of people from the province going to the city. So if people continuously go to the city, nagkakaroon na ng overpopulation. Okay? So there will come a time that the city cannot anymore provide for the needs of the people. So yun yung nagkakaroon ng lumalawak at lalawak yan. So yan yung tinatawag natin na urbanization. Okay? Or sometimes, even the province itself may convert its status into a city. So from a municipal, it may convert itself to a city just to accommodate the growing industry as well as the growing population of humans. Then another effect of human overpopulation, yung number one na effect nito is yung waste production. So every time, even you and I always produce waste. Okay? sa konting pagbukas natin ng mga chichirya, ng pagkain, nagpuproduce tayo araw-araw ng waste. Kung ilang kilo, ilang gramo, depende yan sa pang-araw-araw natin na paggamit ng mga bagay na nagpo-produce ng mga basura or waste na tinatawag natin. So the larger the number of the people, the larger the amount of waste that is being generated. So kung gaano karami yung tao, ganun din ang karami ng basura na nabubuo or nailalabas natin araw-araw. Isa pang magiging epekto pag nagkaroon ng human overpopulation o paglaki ng populasyon ay yung tinatawag natin na water conflict or agawan sa mga sources ng tubig. Pag dumami ang populasyon, dumadami rin ang pangangailangan natin sa tubig, kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng conflict or problema. Okay? Hindi lang yung nagkakaroon ng away sa pagkuha or pagkukunan ng tubig, nagkakaroon na rin tayo ng tinatawag na water scarcity or bumababa yung level ng tubig, kumokonti yung dami ng tubig lalo na during summer, na isa ito sa mga epekto ng climate change. Okay? Then the last effect of your human overpopulation is what we call as overdrafting. When we say overdrafting, most people go to other areas, dumadami sila like in the cities, okay? So they prefer to go to the cities, to the urban areas because they thought that there is work there or their needs can be given or supplemented by the city. Okay? So ang nangyayari, dumadami yung tao sa syudad, kumokonte yung mga tao sa probinsya. Okay? So those what I have narrated are the example of effect of human overpopulation. If we will not control the increasing number of our population, then all of this effect that I have narrated will come into reality. Okay? Other countries have started controlling their population, such as in China, wherein they have only what we call as one-child policy. Although in our country, we are encouraging the use of contraceptives, but sometimes the church is against this kind of program of our government because the church and the government sometimes doesn't agree with how we are going to control our population. But in other countries, particularly those countries that are communist, like in China and North Korea, they have a law which prohibit parents having numerous number of child. So nagkakaroon sila ng either one child policy gaya ng China. So that is an environmental issue with regards to human overpopulation. Okay. Next slide, another global environmental issue is with regards to hydrological issues. Hydro means water. Okay. So one of the environmental issues that we are facing nowadays is on the problem of water. Many countries are suffering from the lack of water or drought. Okay? So there is always a negative impact of reservoir or dams. Okay? So basically we use dam to generate electricity or to get water for our daily needs. Okay? But sometimes having reservoir or dams have a negative effect to the environment. One is the fragmentation of a river ecosystem. When we say fragmentation, a river system may form different channels or nagkakaroon ng pag-iba ng daanan ng tubig. So kung dati-dati may tubig na dumadaan dun sa river system na yan, so pag nagkaroon ng reservoir or dam, pwedeng mabago yung daanan ng tubig. So pag nabago yung daanan ng tubig, it may have a negative effect on the living organism such as fish and other aquatic organism that are living in that particular river. Another one is nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na riverline and coastal erosion. So yung ating dalampasigan sa ilog ay nagkakaroon ng eroding kasi pag tumaas yung tubig, nasisira. So usually pag nagka-create tayo ng dam or reservoir, nagkakaroon din ng water pressure dyan. So yung pagdami ng tubig, paglaki ng tubig, pwede rin makasira sa mga dalampasigan, causing now soil erosion. And then aside from that, another effect of reservoir is change in water temperature. So nagkakaroon ng pagbabago sa temperatura ng tubig kung saan pwedeng maapektuhan yung mga aquatic organism gaya ng isda. So pag nagkaroon ng biglang pagbabago ng temperatura, nagkakaroon din ito ng epekto sa dami ng oxygen or dissolved oxygen sa tubig. So if the water temperature rises, also it may cause an effect on the oxygen level that is present in the water. And then the sudden change in temperature may affect fish and other aquatic organisms that may cause or it may lead to their death or pwede silang mamatay. So nagkakaroon tayo ng fish kill na tinatawag natin kung saan nakikita niyo sa mga pictures, videos ng mga isda na nakalutang gaya sa Manila Bay, etc. And then aside from that, another effect of reservoir is on reservoir sedimentation o yung pagkaipon ng sediments gaya ng mga putik, mga burak dun sa ilalim ng reservoir. So pag dumami yung sedimentation o yung naiipon na lupa sa ilalim ng dam, umaangat yung level ng tubig. So ito rin yung nagkakos ng pagbaha or sudden release of water in the dam, especially during the rainy season. If the dam will release excess water, then it may cause flooding on the lower part of the dam. So nagkakaroon tayo ng pagbaha. Okay? So another hydrological issue is tile drainage. So when we say tile drainage, hindi nagkakaroon ng tamang pag-absorb ng lupa dun sa tubig because sometimes yung ating mga, lalo na sa urban areas, nasa-semento. So pag sementado lahat, walang madadaluyan at hindi pumapasok sa lupa ang tubig. So ang nangyayari, nagkakaroon ng pagbaha, which is yung flooding na tinatawag natin. Aside from flooding or pagbaha, another hydrological issue or effect of hydrological issue is the landslide. So dahil sa pagkaputol ng ating mga kagubatan, in-exploit natin ang ating kagubatan, we exploit the forest, we cut trees and we do not plant tree or tree seedlings in return. So nawawala yung kahoy na humahawak dun sa lupa. So mostly ang mga halaman at kahoy, yung kanilang mga ugat, sila yung humahawak dun sa lupa para hindi ito gumalaw at mag-cause ng landslide. So when we exploit our forest resources, nawawala yung top covering, then pag umulan ng malakas, nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na landslide. And then another hydrological issue o problema sa tubig ay yung epekto ng climate change. Ito yung tinatawag natin na El Nino o yung water scarcity. So mostly ang affected dito ay yung sa agrikultura. So pag walang patubig, hindi makapagtatanim ang ating mga magsasaka. So ang nangyayari, nagkakaroon tayo ng less production. Less production means less food. Less food means nagkakaroon ng taggutom. Okay? So yun yung mga problema na connected sa hydrological issue or problema sa tubig. So usually dalawa lang naman yan, El Nino and La Nina. El Nino, drought or kawalan ng tubig dahil sa climate change, at minsan ibang epekto naman ng climate change, nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na La Nina o yung excessive amount of rainfall. So sobrang pag-ulan, nagkakaroon tayo ng maraming problema gaya ng pagbaha, landslide, soil erosion, etc. Okay? So that is one global environmental issue which pertains or connects to the water or hydrological issues. Proceeding to the next slide. Okay. Another global environmental issue that we have is with regards to the nuclear issues o yung problema tungkol sa mga nuclear energy na tinatawag natin. Although nuclear energy is a source of energy that will take time for it to be depleted. Ibig sabihin, matagal bago maubos yung enerhiya na galing sa nuclear. Pero marami naman itong negatibong epekto sa ating kalikasan o sa ating environment. Okay? So isa-isahin natin yung pwedeng epekto ng paggamit ng nuclear energy. So dalawa lang naman ang pwede natin paggamitan ng nuclear energy. Nuclear energy as a source of clean energy or electricity, or nuclear energy as a source of mass destruction or a weapon for mass destruction. Okay. So what are the negative effects with regards to nuclear issues? One is nuclear fallout. When we say nuclear fallout, pag may sumabog na isang nuclear bomb, pag malayo ka dun sa area kung saan ito sumabog, wala itong epekto sa'yo. Yung heat, yung blast, at saka heat wave, pag malayo ka, hindi ka affected. Pero, ang problema dito ay yung nuclear fallout o yung mga radioactive particles na mahuhulog pagkatapos ng isang nuclear explosion. Okay? Ang mahirap dito, ang mga nuclear fallout ay pwedeng dalhin ng hangin sa isang lugar. Sabihin natin na nagkaroon tayo ng nuclear explosion sa Mindanao. Although malayo ang Mindanao sa Luzon, hindi ka apektado sa heat wave at saka yung blast mismo o yung pagsabog nito. Ang pwedeng makaapekto naman sa Luzon ay yung tinatawag natin na nuclear fallout or radioactive material na pwedeng mahulog or pwedeng dalhin ng hangin papunta rito sa Luzon. Okay? Yung mga radioactive component na to, na kasing liit ng mga alikabok, ay pwedeng mag-cause ng health issues or problema sa kalusugan. Pwede nitong i-contaminate ang ating mga tubig or mga sources of water. Pwedeng magkaroon ng radioactive reaction ng ating mga cells sa katawan na pwedeng mag-cause ng cancer, or pwede nating ikamatay pag tumaas yung radioactive level sa katawan natin. Isa pa rito, pwede ring masira yung mga halaman at mga tanim. Okay? Then another nuclear issue that may happen when we use nuclear energy is what we call as nuclear meltdown. Now, nuclear meltdown occurred in Russia and also in Japan lately. So, yung latest na nagkaroon ng nuclear meltdown ay yung sa case ng nuclear power plant in Japan nung nagkaroon ng tsunami or tidal wave in their country. Though the tsunami affected one nuclear power plant in Japan that is close by the sea, which causes now the meltdown of the nuclear reactor. Once the nuclear reactor or yung pinakasentro or puso ng isang nuclear energy, yung ating tinatawag na nuclear power plant, pag nawala yung tubig na malamig, kasi ang isang nuclear rod na tinatawag kung saan nanggagaling yung energy ay sobrang init yan. So kailangan yan ng tubig na malamig para palamigin at hindi magkaroon ng overheating yung kanyang nuclear reactor. Ang problema sa may Japan is sa isang nuclear power plant sa Japan, nung nagkaroon ng tsunami, nawala yung kanyang cooling, nasira yung coolant or cooling system. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng nuclear meltdown. Okay? So nung nagkaroon ng nuclear meltdown, nagkaroon ng paglabas ng mga radiation. So radiation came out of the nuclear power plant, which causes now the destruction of the place. So nag-evacuate yung mga tao doon at nagkakaroon ng problema ngayon sa high energy level or high radiation level doon. And then another issue is with regards dun sa nuclear power or nuclear energy that is derived from nuclear fission. So although we can derive power or energy like electricity, if it is not properly protected, if it is not properly contained, then it may cause a very serious problem or effect, not only to our health, but also to our environment. Next one is nuclear weapons. So those countries that have nuclear energy sometimes may create weapons which may cause a very destructive effect if it is used against other countries, like in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, where they first utilized an atom bomb or nuclear bomb. It disseminated the entire city. Those two cities were totally destroyed. And also, at present, there are several countries that have a nuclear weapon capability. That anytime that there is war, they can release this nuclear weapon. But most of the time, this country, ginagamit nila yung mga nuclear weapon nila as a form of detrimental weapon. Okay, so when we say it will detract other countries from attacking them because they have a nuclear weapon that will prevent other countries to attack them. So kumbaga pang panakot yung mga iba na ginagamit. Pero yung mga nuclear weapon niyan is totally very destructive. And then we have also another issue with regards to the use of nuclear energy is on the radiation accident. So if we use nuclear energy, the most probable problem that we have is on the increase in radiation. Very high amount of radiation in the body may cause the occurrence of cancer, ulcers, or pagsusugat ng ating katawan that may lead to death. There is a certain limit where the body can absorb this radiation. So if you surpass that level, it may lead to your early death or to your sudden death. Then with regards to nuclear safety, one reason kung bakit pinasara ang nuclear power plant sa Bataan, kasi meron tayong nuclear power plant pero hindi ito nagamit, kasi nga ang problema natin or ang question nila noon ay with regards sa kanyang pagiging safe or with regards to its safety. So many people contradicted the operation of the nuclear power plant in Bataan because they said that there is a fault line passing through that area. Baka raw magkaroon ng malaking paglindol at maapektuhan yung core ng nuclear facility at pwede itong mag-release ng radiation. Okay? Then another main problem ng mga mayroong nuclear power plant or those countries that are using nuclear energy is that they will produce a lot of high-level radioactive waste. So usually this radioactive waste comes from the coolant system or cooling system of the power plant. Some countries throw or place their nuclear waste in barrels and then they dump it at sea. Okay, so that is the easiest way on how they dump it or discard their nuclear waste. Although the proper way is that they should undergo a process in a certain plant where they will neutralize the radiation before they release it to a body of water like the ocean or sea. But in other countries, they do not follow this kind of policy. What they do, iniipon nila sa mga drum yung nuclear waste and then nilalagay sa barko, hinuhulog nila sa dagat. Hoping na dahil daw sa malawak ang dagat, na-neutralize yung radiation dahil pag naihalo sa tubig yan, kumakalat, na-disperse yung radiation. But pero nagkakaroon din naman ito ng negative effects sa mga marine organism because the radiation that are thrown at sea will surely affect the marine organisms that are present in that area. So those are the common issues with regards to the utilization of a nuclear energy.